Hello, and thank you for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels live talk show. I almost said live radio talk show, but no, it's a live talk show live on LinkedIn and YouTube. I'm so excited today. I don't know if you can even tell that how giddy and how excited I am because I have this guest that I've been wanting to get on the show for a long time, right? So we're gonna get to that in a second. In fact, I'm gonna bring her on. If you give me a second, I'm gonna bring up Miret in a second. But I want to make sure I have my comments going so I can see comments that are going. I want to make sure my banner is going as well. There's a lot of things behind the scenes that you guys just don't know that I have to do, right? But I'm going to bring in Miret now. I'm going to add her. You can
Hello.
see I'm getting good at this.
Hello,
So we're going
hello.
to welcome Miret Padovani to the stage. Thank you so much, Miret, for joining us. I do appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you. So
Can you hear
calling
me
in
okay?
from Switzerland. T-
I'm sorry?
Calling in from Switzerland. It's 10 p.m. here. Hello.
Oh, you're in okay. Thanks for telling me that. Okay, so Miret is in Switzerland. So, and I didn't know until yesterday that when I asked her to be on the show, that it would be 10 p.m. her time. Like she's probably ready to go to bed. So, but I do appreciate you being on the show. I really do think I didn't even think about that. I mean, I think okay, we're in America. Must be the same. I knew it wasn't time, but I thought maybe it was maybe 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock at night, right? But no, it's actually 10 p.m. in Switzerland. Now, where are you exactly in Switzerland?
So I'm in Sac Moritz. Sac Moritz is a town in the Swiss Alps. And
Oh,
I don't know
wow.
if you, yes. So it's known as the ski resort to visit in Europe and in the world. It's very popular among celebrities and yeah, VIPs. So it's a fancy place.
Wow,
Definitely
very
worth
good, very good. So it's
visiting.
up. How many feet, how many thousands of feet is it up? What's the height, the
We're around.
elevation?
I would have to check exactly how, but we are above the clouds. It's
Wow.
that's why we
Okay.
call it
Okay.
top of the world. Yeah.
In fact, and for people that don't know Switzerland, I wanted to show
Yes,
a quick
exactly.
map of where Switzerland is and where, what countries border Switzerland.
We're
So
in the
just a
green
quick little
region.
thing. So you're in the green region. Okay. Very
Yeah, in
good.
the green region,
See?
and I think it was also showing St. Moritz in your map.
Okay.
It's very
Probably on
small.
the right side or left side?
Yes, right side of the screen at the bottom. It's very small, but I
Okay.
would suppose that that's what's written there because it's the only town that yeah.
Very good. Very good. I just want to show people, give people a little geography lesson as well, since we're here. But okay. So let's get on with the show. So thank you so much for joining On Air with Russell of Hotels. I do appreciate everyone that's chiming in, as well as, of course, we want to thank Miret for taking time and being on the show as well. We are live on LinkedIn and YouTube, so you can go to YouTube, you can go to LinkedIn and see the show live. It will be a podcast later after the show is over. So give me 24 hours to post it to my podcast platform, but you're able to get it on Spotify, Pocket Cast, Google Podcasts, Overcast, and Apple Podcasts. So all those you can see or hear the show in its entirety. So we're all about connecting people in collaboration. I always say hashtag hospitality unplugged because we talk about everything hospitality. Just remember, just because you can't say it doesn't mean you should say it, right? So we try to keep everything clean and professional, as professional as I can be at times, right? But thank you so much for joining us. It's show number 111. Show number 111. We're all about being a marketing disruptor. I'm a disruptor of the status quo, which means doing this show is being a disruptor. I mean, it's something that I wasn't comfortable with, but it's something I know I needed to do in order to enhance my brand. So that's why I do the show, and that's why it's on live on LinkedIn and YouTube. And then Miret and I were just talking about not everybody can be live on LinkedIn. So you actually have to apply for it, right? So I'm one of the lucky few that have a live show on LinkedIn. So just in case you guys didn't know, now you know. So thank you so much for bringing that up, Miret. We're going to get right into the questions. But, before I get into questions, did you hear, and I don't know how much information you get about what goes on in the States, right? But did you hear that and I mentioned this last week on my show, had to do with New York City temporarily eliminating the hotel room tax occupancy? Did you hear about that?
No, I did not hear that. No.
Oh, okay, so what they did was, you know how DMCs or Convention and Visitors Bureau, they attach a percentage or occupancy tax percentage to the room
Yep.
rate. Well, what New York did was eliminated it for 3 months because they want to enhance travel, or
Okay.
exactly. So they wanted to enhance travel to New York, so they went ahead and eliminated it for 3 months just to get things back started. And I'm like, well, wow, that's great to do that.
It's very
Hopefully,
good, right?
other hotels here in the States, exactly. Hopefully, other hotels in the States do the same thing to kind of give a boost to the travel. So that was good. I just wanted to mention that once more. But introduction of Miret Padavani. She's a PhD in finance. I did not know that, right? And so before I get to my questions, she speaks 5 different languages. She's a hotel director of sales. Director of marketing and communication. She hosts several hospitality rooms on podcast platform. So that's where I met her on through Clubhouse. I mean, she's a remarkable host. She talks about everything hospitality. Her shows or her rooms are always engaging, and they kind of get they kind of have a fire to them too, because it's not her that gives the fire, it's the people that come on that give the fire. So, but go ahead, please welcome Miret Padavani, and please introduce yourself and tell us how you got into the hotel space.
So thank you, Russell, for inviting me. It's my first LinkedIn Live, so I'm very excited. And it's funny because I get this question so often of how I got into hotels, and there's always this big surprise when people know that I have a PhD in finance. It's like, what are you doing in hospitality? And maybe for me, because I lived it feels very natural. So I try to make this long story as short as possible. I moved from finance investment banking to finance communications, where I was science communications officer for the Swiss Finance Institute, looking after communications work for 54 finance professors at 6 different universities across Switzerland. And that's how I got into communications. And then I started blogging, not travel blogging, writing about like restaurants I would eat at, hotels I would stay at. I always liked writing about my experiences and writing a little bit about like on Facebook, on Twitter, but just for myself. And then at some point I started just reaching out to hotels, asking them if they would like to collaborate. So that was back 2012, 13, 14. And that's how I got into then hotels. As a hotel marketer. At some point, I remember when the Sheraton was about to open a new hotel in Tajikistan, they were looking for a marketing manager who knew the country, Tajikistan, and knew marketing. And then it was a 1-year contract. I said, well, why not? Let's try this out, hotel marketing. Why not? And then I just stayed in the industry and worked at other hotels as well. I think sometimes in life, you don't always have to have the answers in advance, right? And sometimes you are offered opportunities, and you feel that, am I capable? Sometimes you ask yourself, right? Am I actually able to do that? And sometimes I think the answer is just say yes, and you'll figure it out afterwards, right? So that's how it went with hotel marketing, and I'm still here. Yeah.
Wow, that's great, because most people don't, they didn't plan to be in hotels, whatever
Yeah.
that position is. Most people did not plan on being in hotels. They kind of fell into it. They came across the opportunity, and opportunity was presented. So I guess it's no different from you, but not
Exactly.
many. And I can say this with all certainty that there's not many PhDs that are hotel directors of marketing. I can say
Yeah.
that. So you're definitely a unicorn.
Yeah. Yeah. I like being a unicorn. Yeah. Yeah. It's great.
Oh, that's good. That's good. So give us the rundown of like where you your current position, and what do you do in your current position and your current hotel?
So I'm now I after a few jobs in the Middle East, now I'm back to Switzerland, where well, actually when I did my PhD and I was in finance, I was in Switzerland. So now I'm back in Switzerland and working as director of marketing communications for a luxury hotel here in St. Moritz, the Badrus Palace. And as a director of marketing communications, so I look after pretty much everything marketing and public relations related. So from digital, social media, press days. It's we have a tough jobs as directors of marketing. We look after so many things in this marketing driven industry, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, definitely. So what do you think? What would you say the hardest thing to do with this whole COVID thing going on, or maybe hopefully it's behind us? Um, what is your biggest, I guess, what's the biggest task that you're facing with being a director of marketer coming out of a pandemic?
I think the biggest challenge for market as for anyone else in the hotel industry is the uncertainty, right? Especially like when will everything be over? How long will this still carry on? When are countries easing restrictions? How are they easing them, right? To what extent? I think this whole uncertainty over the past year and a half, and it's not only for marketers. I think I believe it's like for everyone, right? If you don't have,
Yeah.
you know, uh, it's hard to plan, right? It's very hard to plan. So this, I would say, for our industry is the biggest challenge. But I think we're seeing the end of it. I'm very optimistic. I think we're seeing the end of it now with the vaccination rolling out. I'm quite positive actually.
No, that's good. I mean, I think we are. Well, I'll just say, I'm very positive as well. But I always say that things will never be the same. Meaning, the way we sell, the way we market, will have to be different. What do you think about that?
Well, things don't need to be the same. Things, time goes by and things are never the same. Yeah. Things were very different 10 years ago, were very different 20 years ago, and they would be very different 10 years from now. I don't think that the end of it means going back to what it was, right? So whenever I hear this expression, things are back to normal, I'm like, it doesn't mean much, right? Because things keep changing, keep evolving. What's important, and the way I see it, is that people, hotels, we need to adapt. We need to be flexible. We need to learn from past experiences, past mistakes, and try to make the best of it without expecting things to be back to normal, right? Uh, and it's probably even a positive thing, right? Change is always positive. It can be painful at times, like at the very start, but in the long run, change is usually very, very positive. So that's why I'm optimistic.
Yeah, I think so. I think change is, yeah. In this case, I change would be good because I think it's gonna make us work a little harder. To be honest with you, because our guests or our clients, they're going to demand some different things, or maybe it's going to be different to reach those people. You know what I mean? It's not, maybe the old methods don't work anymore, and maybe we need to evolve into maybe more technology or whatever. What do you think about that?
Exactly. So by something will change. Like for instance, if you take events at the moment, right? Everyone's talking about hybrid events. And there was, I actually hosted a room, I think it was 3 or 4 weeks ago, when I was asking, so hybrid events or virtual events, does that mean the end of the event business for hotels? Well, not necessarily. It will mean the end of the business for hotels that cannot adapt, right? For hotels that are only able to put together in-person events, but hotels that can adapt and are flexible and can look into new ways of hosting events, having this virtual component, then they will thrive. And is this a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. It's neither bad nor good. It's just a new way of hosting events, right? The same thing when it comes to marketing. I don't know, 40 years ago, say, okay, we'll just have a billboard somewhere, we'll have an ad in some magazine, and that's fine. At 30 years ago, maybe. And now things are very different. Does that mean it's good or bad? It's neither. It's just a new way of reaching people. And that's what I mean by having to adapt. Just being curious. I think it's very important to stay curious, to learn new things. Like for instance, now there's this talk about NFTs for hotels. And in a room I was hosting last week, someone came on stage and gave us amazing ideas on how to use NFTs for events and things that are actually already being used. Yeah, we're not talking about the future in 20 years. We're talking already now, 2021. There are already uses of NFTs for events. And so we need to know these things, right? We need to always learn and be curious and see what's going on. Some things will work, some things will not. Some things might work for some hotels, others might work for different hotels. But we need to know. I think the worst thing, especially in a situation just as this one where we're coming out of a pandemic, is to stay ignorant or to just say, no, I've always done things this way and that's how I'll carry on doing them. That is quite foolish.
That is good. That's well said. Well said. Because I have those same conversations with people, and it's just they're afraid to. A lot of people are afraid to change for whatever reason. They're afraid to change. But I think you like you said, you have to stay vigilant. You have to stay positive, definitely optimistic, and things will. You have to, and evolving is it. So,
Change is
but someone
scary,
asked me a question. What is NFT?
NFT.
Someone
It's
asked me what is an. Yes.
NFT is a non-fungible token. So if you know what Bitcoin is, so that's a fungible token. And I'll try to make it very short. So these are the tokens that you buy in somewhere in the space. And it's like it's not the easiest to explain, but if you think that you have, like for instance, a cupboard and you're putting some I don't know, the jars in your cupboard, right? You can think of it like that. Yeah. So one of those jars can be an event ticket, for instance. And then when you buy an NFT, you own it. Yeah, I myself, I'm not an expert in NFT, but that's why I'm trying to learn to understand better. Because when for instance, I got to know that when was it? 2 or 3 months ago, a hotel group in Germany launched the first NFT hotel. It's a crypto hotel. So this hotel exists entirely on the blockchain, right? And I was like, what is it exactly? And what uses can one make of all this technology for? So that's where I started then following on Clubhouse rooms on NFTs and seeing how it's mostly at the moment used by musicians and artists who sell their work as NFTs. So they sell the ownership they sell their work, so people will own that, and then there's a very active secondary market. So that's where it all started. I said I'm not an expert. but it's important to know, because maybe in 2 years, maybe all events tickets will be NFTs, where all event experiences will be sold as NFTs. Who knows? I don't know.
Exactly. You never, like you said, you never know, but it's just one of those things you have to be knowledgeable about, at least to have a conversation. Like you just someone asked that question on the comments here. So I thank you everyone for asking questions. I thank you for joining in. This is interactive. If you want to ask a question, please feel free to ask a question anytime. Did you bring back all of your staff in the hotel? Are events still happening? That was a question for you. Can you see the questions? I'm not sure if you can see the questions.
I cannot see any questions.
Miret. Okay. There's a question from Irene Bahanovich. She asked, did you bring back all of your staff in the hotel, and are events still happening?
Well, we didn't have any. We're a seasonal hotel, so we didn't have any impact as others. So yeah, it's.
Okay, so your hotel right now, is it open now, because it's seasonal? So is it
No,
open now?
it's a seasonal hotel, so we will open in the summer. Yeah. I cannot see you anymore, Russell. I cannot hear you. Cannot hear you. I cannot hear you.
Hold on.
Now I can.
So a phone call came through. Okay,
that's
sorry about
why.
that. Yeah, a phone call
No
came
problem.
through, and I thought that was taken care of, but I couldn't get phone calls. But anyway, okay. So your hotel, I mean, I know it's seasonal. So does that mean it's not open right now, or is it open? Is this going into your season?
Yeah, we are going into our season. Yeah.
Okay. So very good. Thank you so much for that question, Irene. Let me go forward. So Clubhouse. Okay, so you and I met on Clubhouse. So I'm
Yeah,
a big
exactly.
proponent of Clubhouse and everything that it stands for, because there's a lot of good information out there. What do you think about Clubhouse, and how is it enhance your brand or who you are?
So you know how much I like Clubhouse and organizing rooms. So Clubhouse, I founded on Clubhouse exactly 3 months ago, the Hotel Marketing Club. Right, it was March 6th, and at the moment we have 1,800 followers. So that's really good to see the community grow. And what I personally do on
Wow.
Clubhouse is I host groups on hotel marketing. It can be specifically hotel marketing topics, such as, for instance, Instagram for hotels, right? Or it can be topics that are broadly related, such as influencer relations or managing creativity. And so broadly, the topics that are interesting not only for hotel marketers, but also marketers from other industries or hoteliers that are not necessarily marketers, right? And the thing I really, really, really like about a Clubhouse is that you can connect with the industry colleagues, like we connected, right? And you can have smart conversations, which I think is always something very, very precious, right? And it gives you an opportunity to. The thing is that since it's audio only, everyone can engage in it, right? You can even be multitasking. You might be starting to get ready, in the mornings to go to work, and you listen to a room in the background. And if you have something to say, you would just intervene. So it's a very inclusive platform, which is really what I like about it. It doesn't require, you don't have to, dress up for it or anything. So it's a very easy platform and allows the people to, to engage with others. When it comes to personal branding, as with all social media, you can make an amazing job and uh, use the Clubhouse to strengthen your personal brand, or you could use it foolishly and you destroy your personal brand. So that applies to all social networks and not only Clubhouse, right? I think with Clubhouse, since it's very spontaneous, yeah,
Yes.
it's very spontaneous. So if you don't have anything smart to say, then everyone will notice, right? And then you might just get out of the platform. So I think it really shows who has something to contribute, who can add value to a conversation, to the community, and who cannot, right? And you cannot fake it, right? There's no filters, fancy filters, as such as on Instagram. And you don't have to take like 3,000 selfies to find the perfect selfie to post on Instagram, right? With Clubhouse, it's very spontaneous. It's on the spot. Someone asks you something, or you engage in a conversation, and yeah, there's the good thing is that no one is recording, right? No one is recording, so people feel that they can be more spontaneous, right? That's also a positive thing. So yeah, when it comes to personal branding, I actually know a lot of content creators that are on Clubhouse like every day, hosting rooms every day, and maybe 2 or 3 rooms per day. And they say that they are getting business out of Clubhouse. They are really connecting with potential clients. So I think for the creator community, there is a lot of potential in the app, more than with other networks.
Definitely, definitely. That was something that resonated, what you said about you can either enhance your brand or make your brand look bad, because
Yeah.
there's people on there that will just spew things out and they have no knowledge of what that subject is. Yeah, you can definitely see that. Now, I always say this, and I don't know if I've told you this, but all the clubhouse rooms that you host, I mean, I normally sign up for those, right? And yours are always the most spirited. Not necessarily coming from you, but the topic that you pick will are pretty spirited. And one that comes to mind was travel influencers and travel advisors. Now,
Advisors, yeah.
people that novice people that are listening, they may not even know what the difference is in those two people. But can you kind of elaborate on what the difference is and how kind of that conversation went?
Yeah. So that was a very interesting room, and I was scared before that room. I remember I was like, "Oh my God!" And it was well, travel advisors. They, as the name says, they advise clients who pay them to organize their trips. They can get a commission or they get money. It depends on the format, but this is really like their job, right? And people pay for their knowledge, expertise in hotels, airlines. When it comes and a true travel advisor would really know every, like for instance, say you want to travel to, I don't know, Spain, you would ask a travel advisor what restrictions are there now, what paper do I need to prepare, right? Where should I stay? Where should I go eat? So they would plan the entire experience. Um, and does not necessarily have to do anything with social media, right? It can be all offline. I mean, that's how it's always been, right? And when it comes to now travel influencers, well, that's all on social media, and it's not really their jobs. So influencers would stay at the hotel for 2 3 nights and post about it, talk about it, and the name influencer comes from they're expected to have some influence so that they influence people's decision on then where to stay. So if I see an influencer staying at hotel XYZ, I would then decide to stay at hotel XYZ because I like that influencer and they've convinced me that it's a nice, pretty place. But an influencer, their job is not to advise anyone on what paper needs to be prepared, what restrictions are in the country, or they don't give any advice, right? That's not their job. So yeah, the room was quite quite heated because the question was who's more relevant nowadays. Yeah? Nowadays that we live in a society that's obsessed by social media, and that thinks that if it's not on Instagram that it doesn't exist, right? This is the way a lot of people think, right? So maybe influencers are becoming more important, and they are the real advisors, in the sense that they tell you where to stay. If they feature hotel, it's good. If they don't feature hotel, then maybe that hotel doesn't even exist, right? That's what a lot of followers, that's how they think, right? To put in very simplistic terms. So yeah, the room was very heated because we had both influencers and travel advisors and hoteliers. And of course, travel advisors don't think that that their job is becoming less relevant now that influencers are all over the place, and influencers get to stay for free at hotels, right? They're invited, they are pampered. And so the question was why, right? And the thing is, there is, I don't think anyone is more relevant than the other. We need both, but because they are very different, right? And the debate and the controversy comes when one thinks that, okay, now because we have influencers, then we do not need travel advisors. Or if we have travel advisors, we don't need influencers. They don't have to be mutually exclusive, right? From a hotel perspective, if you think of why do hotels like influencers? Because of the content they put out there, right? And usually it's very curated. It's curated photography, videography. So it's content that hotels can use, right? Travel advisors, it's not their interest. I'm not going to say they don't care about what they put on social media, but it's not their priority, right? They are more into organizing a trip and into having expertise. Like, for instance, if you say I'm a family with 2 kids, where should I go? Then you would go to a travel advisor. You don't go to an influencer, right? Maybe the mistake comes from the followers who think that an influencer, just because they're invited to a lot of hotels, that they really know where one should stay, right? But then it's not the influencer's fault, right?
Yes, no, I agree. I agree that they're both needed, definitely both needed. But I guess the thing that got me laughing, that made me think, because I have to put my my director of sales and marketing hat on. So when back in the day when I was on property, when travel advisors, or they used to be called travel agents for people that are keeping score here, they were travel agents, now they're travel advisors. Okay. So when they call me to get, or email me or whatever, to get a free room, they're required to do a tour of the hotel, regardless how big my hotel was. If it's a 100-room hotel, if it's a 1,000-room hotel, they need to do a tour, right? So that was required. So, and they didn't always get a free room. They may have got a they may have got a free room sometimes, but at least they got a discount, right? It could have been 50% off or whatever, right? So,
But can I
but
say
I never
something
treated
here?
anyone differently. And then, yeah, go
Yeah.
please.
So it's even when you have influencers, they don't necessarily stay for free. And that was also a question that came in the room, because maybe more important travel advisors, those that people say, okay, we're really getting a return from them services, we are really getting clients from those services, maybe those get to stay for free, or right? It's the same with influencers. No one ever said you have to give everyone, right, free stays. It's always based on the value that you see that you are getting from that person's services. And the influencer, it's in terms of reach, right? It's in terms of content. With a travel advisor, it's in terms of how many guests they brought in the past. And who their connections are. If you see that they have amazing connections, then I don't think any hotel would have a problem, right? Saying come and stay for free.
Hmm. Yes, yes, you're absolutely right. I took it. I used to take it as a, and I didn't bring this up when I got on that particular in that particular room. I didn't bring this up, but how we do it, how we did do it, was that there's two buckets, right? There's sales and there's marketing. Okay, the travel advisors are more sales driven, right? I mean, there's
Exactly.
reports I can run and say, okay,
Exactly.
this XYZ tour company or travel agency or whatever gave us this, but there's nothing on the other end because it's more of a marketing thing. So that money comes from somewhere else. But they should be given things equally, though. I mean, if we're giving a free room to one, we should evaluate, like you said, evaluate exactly what they're bringing, how much exposure they have, and that's when hoteliers have to vet these people out. Both sides, we have to vet them and say, okay, how many followers do you have? How much engagement do you have? And what have you? If you're only doing 4-star, 4 and 5 uh, diamond hotels, and I'm a 3 diamond hotel, well, then why would I use that person to use? Because most of their people, their followers, are not going to use my hotel. So I have to be
Exactly.
smart about how I'm deciding who's going to get, what, or if
Exactly.
they're going to get anything at all. Because I've turned down both
Exactly.
sides. Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying. So the treatment is fair and is based on a metric, right?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. But that was interesting. I wanted to bring it up because it was a spirited conversation, and the way you handled it was spot on. I mean, you stuck to whatever, you stuck to your agenda, and you kept everybody in line because everybody wanted to talk, and you kept everyone in line. So you're my favorite moderator by far.
Thank you.
Okay, just from that one situation, I'm telling you, because
Thank you.
those people were vicious. Okay, so you
But we will have a
you
follow-up
did a great
room.
job. For the people just
We'll have a
okay,
follow-up
good,
room
good. Make sure
where
okay,
they
I'll make
get
sure I'm
to
on that one.
collaborate, because now it's about collaborating. There are ways that travel advisors can
Okay.
collaborate with influencers.
Yeah, I think you know what. With that being said, I think both can learn from each other, and both need to apply. Like maybe the travel advisor maybe need to do a little bit more, have a social media presence, and then maybe the influencers maybe need to know a little more about being a travel advisor. So I think it they both can interact or both learn things about each other.
Absolutely. Everyone needs social media presence nowadays.
Exactly, exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
So okay, very good. So for people that are just joining, we're on air with Miret Padavani. She is well, I think she too, but anyway, but we won't talk about that at this point. But she is a hotel marketer and director of communications. We have a couple people that just joined. Karina, thank you so much for joining. You're not too late. Thank you so much. I'm glad. We're happy to have you. Jeremy, I think that's Jeremy Lanoy.
Okay.
He's made a comment. Listen, don't you think that if you get travel advisors to stay for free, you take the risk of having them recommending you only if you host them for free, and you might get in trouble with bribing? I'll let you take that one. Did you hear that, Brent?
Yeah, it's okay. Let's be very honest here, right? Regardless, let's say you are neither an influencer nor a travel advisor. You are just someone, okay? and you get the opportunity to stay at an amazing hotel for free, right? Will that not become all of a sudden your favorite hotel, right? So it has nothing to do with if you're an influencer or travel advisor. The moment that you get a free stay at an amazing hotel, you get a free spa treatment, so on and so forth. Of course, you feel, I was like almost obliged, right? To first of all, you feel thankful, right? And you feel like, oh, this place is really nice. Of course, right? Regardless of, you can even have nothing to do with advisory or influencer, but as soon as you get something for free, that thing is like a luxury stay for free. Then of course, if someone would ask you, where shall I stay in New York? One hotel gave you a free stay, the other didn't. You're going to recommend where you can stay for free, right? It's obvious, right? It would be stupid to say, to recommend the hotel that made you pay for your stay and not the one that's free. And that is the danger when you are when a lot of things are offered for free, right? That's why I think maybe I'm saying we should use more something like discounted rates for everyone, right? Maybe that would be fairer. Maybe that would make sure that then if you are seeing someone's pictures on Instagram, then they might be more credible, right? We need, I think this it would never end. This discussion, we still need to have it and have it to understand what works best for all parties, right? It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one, but I wouldn't go as far as calling it bribing. It's not bribing. But I see the point of, like, if a travel advisor gets money for selling stays and organizing stays, I wouldn't go as far as calling it bribing, but I do see the point. Yeah, it's not very maybe professional, let's put it this way.
Yeah. I mean, this is a subject that we can talk about forever. It's never going to, everyone is never going to be on the same sides, because it's not one size fits all for anything. But these are just conversations that are happening on Clubhouse that people that aren't on Clubhouse, you're missing out on adding to the conversation, because it's, people are being heard, people are getting their, whatever their opinions out. And
let me add something, Russell, if I may. If someone is not on if someone is not on Clubhouse, they're missing out on a lot of things. Because first of all, they're missing out on all the amazing connections that we're making in our industry. I mean, the hotel industry is quite active on Clubhouse. For marketers, missing out on, so the amount of things that I have learned so much on Clubhouse that I wanted even to show you here. I will show you this. I have this booklet of mine with all the things that I have learned on Clubhouse. I take notes while listening, and
wow.
you really learn a lot. You really learn a lot. All the things that I've connected with. I had Zoom calls with people following the Clubhouse rooms. I've connected with Pinterest marketers. I've connected with TikTokers. I've connected with quite a few people, copywriters. Connected with quite a few people thanks to Clubhouse, and people who just for the the passion of sharing expertise and knowledge, who have helped me a lot with questions I had also for my own work and things that I needed to, I had questions and I know now who to reach out to. That's very good.
Exactly. And I mean, a lot of the content that I come up with for the show, I get from people, not all of it, but some of the topics that I talk about on the show, they come from Clubhouse because these are things that I heard in a room or I was part of or whatever. So I just think that it's that gift that keeps on giving, and it's free. It doesn't cost anything to be on it.
Exactly.
So and they're giving free advice, and these people are, they're a lot more knowledgeable than I am. And just to answer this one question, Miret, would you and I have met if it wasn't for Clubhouse?
Probably not. But I'll tell you even
that's
more.
what I mean.
But I'll tell you even more because there are quite. I must say that over the past, I don't know, 10 years, 8 years, a lot of people I have met first on social media and then in person. A lot of people, right? And it's a lot of people in the industry, a lot of people in. So at the time when I was like travel blogging, there were a lot of fellow bloggers, and I actually think this is it's almost the way that people meet nowadays, right? It almost feels like the natural way of connecting with people, right? Because it's also quite easy. So if you're in a clubhouse room, for instance, you have other 20 people, right? With some people you connect, right? You feel like, yeah, this person I would like to, talk with this person more, or have a host another room with this person. And other people you don't want. And the nice thing, like if you were at a party, right, with a lot of people, you would be forced to stay there and have to talk with people even if you don't like. But if you're on Clubhouse, you can just leave the room quietly, right? And not have to see that person again. It's very practical.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Absolutely right. Very good. Very good. Hey, do you use moving forward? Do you use IG Reels?
At work, yes. Personally, no. But I am a big fan of. I think businesses should use Reels more, for this very simple reason that Instagram is giving Reels a bit of a push, right? It's prioritizing content published as Reels rather than other content. And since we all need to play with the algorithm and play by the rules of Instagram, so if that's the content that Instagram wants, then that's the content we have to give it, right? So I am a big fan of Reels
Yes. Yes.
for business purposes. Myself, I was telling you, this is my very first LinkedIn live. I'm not very much a video person. Uh, I don't know, just more I'm more of an audio person than a video person. But I do believe that video is important for like engagement, right?
Yes. Yes. Definitely. And I mentioned that you need to do more reels or more videos. I did mention that to you before.
Yeah.
I don't know if you
Yeah.
remember that, but I did mention that you need to do more of those. Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well,
All
now that
right.
I
Well,
am
very good. I just
practicing
wanted
with
you to
you,
say
I'm practicing with you,
yes.
so maybe I can start also my own live sessions at some point. Let's see if I enjoy it. Yeah.
I think you should, because I think there's a lot of information out there that even though you share a lot of information on Clubhouse, there's other people like on Instagram and maybe other social media platforms that don't hear you. They haven't heard your voice. So I
Exactly.
think you have a lot to add, and I think you should. And the lives don't have to be long. I mean, they can be, a couple minutes. You know what I mean? Just quick,
Yep.
get your point across and get off of it. So I think it's important that we do more lives, because that's what I've made a conscious effort to do on every other day. So I need to come up with
Wow.
subjects and topics to talk about for about maybe 3 to 5 minutes. Yeah. So So
Oh,
I think
I-
that you can do it. You can do it. I have faith in you. You can do
thank you.
it. Okay. Moving forward. Moving forward. Now I'm going. Now there'll be some other questions for you, but I'm. Let's see. Um, what do you think about creating FOMO? What does creating FOMO mean to you?
What is creative? Sorry, say it again.
Cre- Creating FOMO. Are you familiar with that term?
Fear of missing fear of missing out, right?
Yes.
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 Uh, you know the interesting thing. I remember when what was it, like 2 or 3 years ago, it was a big thing, right? This FOMO. Uh, I don't
Hmm.
think people now really fear that they're missing out on it. Actually, it's quite the opposite. Sometimes we have way too much information, and we are getting bombarded by pictures and videos on social media that we sometimes it's actually a luxury to miss out on a few things. Yeah, I would have said FOMO was a thing a few years back,
Yes.
but yeah, I now
Okay.
I don't think it's a thing anymore. And I think also with the pandemic, we have all realized that there are more important things than the fancy helium balloons over breakfast that we'd see some influencers posting, and some fancy stuff. So if we even miss out on some of those things, we feel it's okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. What do you think? Okay. So taking that same thing, what do you think people should do? If you're not creating FOMO, but you still need to give a presence on social media, what should you be doing? What do you think?
Well,
I mean, your
well, first
advice.
of all, I think it's super important to be authentic and genuine, right? And that's where I say it's not about creating FOMO. It's not about saying, look, this is my life. It's so amazing. You don't have that. I am good. You are crap, right? Because the whole thing
Hmm.
behind people who are
Hmm.
trying to create FOMO is to think that their lives are better for some reason, right? Uh, no one's life is
Mm.
is is better, right? And if you're on social media just to have, if you feel that you're on social media because you have to prove something, then maybe you have a psychological problem that you need to solve before you even get on social media. Yeah. It's about, yeah. It's, really, it's about being authentic and genuine.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, but and there are some cases where people feel the psychological need to show that they are so amazing, right? But it usually tend to be the people who are not that
Hmm. Yeah.
amazing. And if I am someone who I
You're
like, for
right.
instance,
You're right.
I like to share a lot on social media, but only when I think that it really adds value. You've noticed everything I do is related to hotels or marketing, social media, right? I don't talk about my private life.
Hmm.
I don't, I
Hmm.
never talk about my private life. I don't, it's all about work, right? It's all about where I like marketing and hotels and the industry, something I'm passionate about, right? I could start, but I don't see the need to start showing off of things. It's I don't see the need, and I don't care to see it also from others. To be very honest, right? That's why you see that I follow also others who talk about the industry and
Hmm.
certain topics rather than about their private lives, right? Um, so being authentic and genuine and talk about the things that you're really passionate about, because it shows if you are just like forcing things. That's so that would be my advice. And no need to create FOMO.
All right. All right. Very good. Very good. See, you bring a different perspective, and I appreciate that. So, okay, I have another question for you. So,
Sure.
is it time to be selling or branding?
Okay. Well, you've missed the third one. It's neither selling nor branding. It's the time to be marketing, right? The way I see it is,
Okay.
uh, how much brand? So this is a tricky one, and I know I have a lot of fellow marketers, branding experts disagreeing with me. But how much branding do you need? Meaning, because there is a difference between branding and marketing. Do you agree with me, Russell? They're not the same thing. Um,
Yes. Yes.
like brand, there's this. There's a very popular meme on LinkedIn that's tries to explain the difference between marketing and branding. But the way I see it put in very simplistic terms is branding is at the start of your business, or if it's a personal brand, of your personality. And of course, you always work on it. You fine tune it. And then there's the marketing, which is different than selling. But maybe what your question was, that's what you meant with selling versus branding. And I see marketing different, because marketing is a way of making things look a little bit prettier and not mentioning price. Whereas selling for me is when you get directly to the point, and it's all about a transaction, right? Whereas marketing does not necessarily entail a transaction, right? So I
Correct.
think we need all three, right? It depends which stage you are of your business or your life. If it's a personal brand, so it's difficult to say. It really depends on where you are at the moment, whether you need to have a transaction or you're still trying to figure out who you are. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, I got you. I understand. I understand where you're coming from. Hey, we're winding down? It's 1:57 already, or for your time, it's 10:57. But
It's good.
how do people get a hold of you if people want to have a further conversation about you, or with you? How do they get a hold of you?
So I am on. I'm very active on Clubhouse. So first of all, people should follow the Hotel Marketing Club on Clubhouse, right? We host very interesting rooms on Clubhouse. So this is
Yes.
the best
Yes.
way to engage in a conversation with myself. I'm always open to ideas, room topics. I'm also super active on LinkedIn. And DMs are open also on Instagram. My Instagram account is also very much related to my Clubhouse rooms. It's just about my Clubhouse rooms. So yeah, it's
Yes.
quite easy to get in touch with me via DMs, and then always happy to arrange Zoom calls and chat. I'm a very talkative person. So yeah, especially if it comes to everything marketing related and hotels.
And it doesn't matter what time it is, because for people just joining in, it's 11 p.m. in Switzerland. So and she's vibrant and upbeat and just like I thought she would
Always,
be. So I want
always,
to really thank you
always.
for joining me and agreeing to do this.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was such an honor, right? Because I follow your lives, especially your lives on. Are they from? So they're on Instagram, but maybe you post them first on Facebook. I'm not on Facebook, so that's a social network I'm not on personally. But I really like your lives on Instagram, even if it's just the 2 3 3 minutes. It's nice. So I also thank you, because I learned from you on how to take these lives and how to post them, and what to talk about. So thank you.
Oh no, but thank you so much, Miret. Yeah, they're on. I do mainly now, mainly my as far as work is concerned or business, everything's on either LinkedIn or Instagram.
Okay.
I still post things to Twitter as well, but
Mm.
Facebook I kind of leave that to personal stuff. But I will post like this video here. I will post this show on Facebook as well. But
Okay.
I get more interaction, or from LinkedIn, from Instagram, and from YouTube.
I must
So
say
thank you
that
so much for your comments. I do appreciate that.
LinkedIn is a platform that has always done quite well, right? And has managed to keep its community engaged,
Yes.
right, over time. So I think LinkedIn is sometimes underestimated by some people. It has a lot of capabilities, a lot of good features that one can use. Absolutely. No, no, so I would also like to use more of these features rather than
Yes.
just posting.
Yes, video goes a lot further on most social media platforms, other than Clubhouse, of course, because it's all audio. But anyway, but hey, we're winding down now. But I want to thank you so much again for being on the show, agreeing to be here. I mean, you had a wealth of information. Um, and I love your take on different things. When I said the FOMO thing, you said FOMO thing in the past and all that. I mean, I love that. I love it. So thank you so much for joining
Thank
and
you.
being real. I mean, just being real. I do appreciate that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Russell. Thank you.
Oh yeah. So okay. So good night to you. And then I'll see you on Club.
Yeah,
I'll see you on Clubhouse soon, right?
yeah, I'll go on Clubhouse right away, I think, right?
And let's plan on doing another show one day,
Sure,
someday in the future.
absolutely.
Let's plan on doing another
Absolutely.
show
Cool.
on air. Okay.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's do that.
All right.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks again. Again, you have a good night. All right. Bye.
Come on.